Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. What a weekend. Holy bananas. I saw that coming and I didn't see that coming. Wow, I've had me the most epic journey. And I'd love to hear your experience. What I'm sensing, and we'll see, we'll pull some messages out. But what I'm sensing is how do I put this into words? Chemically bonded union between the earth self and the higher self. Chemically, talk to me about that. Yeah, it's going to affect the hormone system. So the magic that happens around the pituitary, that's the chemical rebalancing. And if I boil this right down, I had a conversation recently, and I want to ask this as a question, because it's an unusual thing, and for someone else to have experienced it is unusual in itself. There's something happening with my house plants. Okay, so the big fern that usually sits behind me is now in the window because it's not looking happy. I grew a massive syngonium, aka goosefoot or arrowfoot, on 3 poles from a little plant, and it was stunning, and I had a great connection with this plant, and I have watched it die leaf by leaf over the last couple of months. So it's gone now. I also have a plant called Scindapsus, which is a tropical vine which is growing up a really big pole, and that's dying. That's developed root rot. And I had this conversation with somebody who's witnessing their own plants dying, and I said, and what part of us thinks that anything is separate from this molecular and now hormonal shift, upgrade, uplift? So the plants are feeling it. If you have furry beasties, they will be feeling it. Children will be feeling it. Trees are feeling it. All of nature will be feeling these new frequencies coming in. So I'm going to look a bit plantless for a while. I'd rather not go out and get some new plants. I just want to ride this dying back. It's a dying back. So there's that. And so there's this beautiful kind of coming together. It isn't really linear, it's a frequency shift, but it's the higher self coming to fuse, submerge, immerse, align with, integrate. With the earth being. Okay. So I have 2 new decks of cards. One of them isn't quite ready to work in the collective yet, but I'll bring that when it is. And the other one is this, which has given us some messages. See what you think. So I'm going to read them intuitively, and then where I am nudged, I'm going to go to the book for extra. So what I've done is I've pulled 3 cards and then 3 underlying cards because we're now really working that polarity of heart, mind, masculine, feminine, higher self, lower self. We're really working that polarity to bring it into a cohesive, balanced, harmonic. That's and dissolving the occlusion. Okay, so if we think we're exiting the energies of an 8-year, which is basically harmonizing growth and what's the word? Dieback, death. Dissolving, growth and dissolving. So evolution, involution, going in to build from within for the expansion. So overall, the 8 expands and builds. And the 9's coming in now to dissolve it. And at the end of January, the year of the wood snake in Chinese astrology comes in. And I've been studying snakes as part of the epic journey I've been on this weekend, to watch them shed their skin. And what they go through is nothing short of excruciating. First, they kind of lose their sight, and so they're blind, which makes them hissy and snappy if somebody comes into their field while they're doing this massive metamorphosis. And they have to rub their own skin off, and that skin can get caught on just one of the attachment points. And when they shed their skin, what's revealed is partly patterned, partly white. And so the melatonin, I know it's a human thing, it might exist in snakes, but the thing that colors is not quite there. It hasn't quite birthed the new pattern. And so that skin might feel very raw and very vulnerable. And I'm going to speak about Year of Snake, of course, why wouldn't I? But this is massive healing in a 9-year. You know, we are shedding our skin. And let's call it the skin of pretense, the skin of shielding, the skin of pretending, to become something really raw. And that's going to show up in many different ways, because when we show up in the world that we live in, raw, open, heart open, vulnerable, that can trigger people. The shift is to stop fixing that. The shift is to stop stroking that. The shift is to stop turning the light down to make that comfortable. So we're still ending codependency. This will go on for a while. Savior complex codependency. And as we come into sovereignty, we become all of ourself, integrated, higher self, speaking through that voice of personal authority, the freedom of independent thought, the freedom of independent expression. And it's okay for you to be you in that, and it's okay for me to be me. Separation and unity all at the same time. Okay, and so in that, I'm no exception, but one of my movements over the weekend was quite a significant kundalini rising. So lots of new energy coming in. And so we have fire, and we have vitality, a return of vitality. And in there is learning to work with your fire element in a way that doesn't burn the world down, that doesn't harm. Fire can be gentle, and the underlying energy is water. You know, and we're talking about blending that polarity, and what we're looking at here actually is a chimera shaped like a mermaid, but it's half human, half aquatic. Okay, so we are human and divine. We are animal and light. We are also animal and aquatic. Okay, and reptilian and amphibian. All of that DNA works together in some kind of harmonious, disharmonious way. And so the element of water, I do get Pisces, Neptune beautifully with this, is to go into that dissolving mind, is to go into that mind without structure. This 12-12-33 is to go into that mind without structure, the void space, 12-12-33. That's beautiful. So that's bringing the blueprint in. 12-12-24-6 is that space and time to disappear out of this container and be here all at the same time. Yeah. So these two cards are speaking to build the vitality, raise the kundalini, activate the fire, and temper it with water. Thank you. So this is the distinction between beingness and doingness. Doingness isn't connected to what it's doing, it's just doing. Beingness is connected to everything, connected to a houseplant, having a conversation with a tree and having it converse back with you, and dealing with the controlled psychosis of that. Okay. So that water element wants to connect us to what we're doing. It's rebelonging us to ourself and our experience at a soul level. Very lovely. So activate the fire with feeling, with being. What is this like for me? So I can see myself working with a pen and but what is it like? I guess it's mindfulness, isn't it? But it's feelingness. What does it feel like, and where does that feel? Where is that somatically in my body? Okay. So, fire and water. And the next polarity is a polarity in itself. It's this Gemini energy. Crossing the threshold, looking through the threshold. Part of my trip this weekend was really noticing that on my back doorstep is Orion. The constellation of Orion is literally there on my back doorstep. And I think it was Thursday night, and I was standing on the doorstep, and all of my attention went to Orion's belt. So you've got 1, 2, 3 stars, and one of the fixed stars sent this plume of light, came from behind the star and lit it up. And I thought, that's interesting. So I did some research, and I think it's called Mantuka. Bear with me. Mintaka. So the star I was staring at is called Mintaka. And bear with me. Mintaka sits at 0 degrees of the celestial equator. And it is considered a celestial bridge between the northern and the southern hemisphere. So if we've got Gemini on the table, we're talking about a bridge, a space between. And the underlying card is the pillar of severity, which wants us to cut something away, to let go of something. And it might be some romantic notion. Some enchanted evening. Just got that song drifting by. Some enchanted notion. Okay. So if we're balancing the lovers, like Gemini, the celestial bridge, the higher and the lower coming together, that's the lovers. Okay. And we're bringing severity into that with courage and form. What are we building? That's the question. So if I may, I'd like to so the path of the lovers talks about connection through the heart. In the sign of Gemini, that's very mind. Okay, so severity wants to talk to us about the pillar of severity. Helps remove what no longer works. Your sword arm is ready to cut ties to a limiting energy. And that might not be easy, that might not be simple even, but you'll know it. And this is the invitation, is to go to the heart and listen, with heart as teacher, with heart as guide, with soul already knowing why it's here, what it's come here to experience, rather than to intellectually and rationally figure it out. We're really breaking down the patriarchal, formatted mind. And the feminine mind is becoming so effusive. Fusing. It's fusing. Okay. Yeah. It's basically saying drop the drama. A hullabaloo is not required. Make the changes without feeling as if you must engage in endless conversations that will go over ground you've no doubt already covered 100 times or more. Yeah, don't get lost in the weeds. We had that message the other day. But there's this repeating but coming in. Right, go back, because you need to knock yourself out of that tram line. But what if? That can be the limiting belief. Right, go back. What did your heart say a couple of minutes ago? Right, now take action on that. But, okay, what did your heart say? And just go through that process. You can even use that 8 energy to create a feedback loop so that the two can recalibrate and harmonize. I'm going to take action and I'm going to feel some kind of way about that. But I'm taking action. Okay. So that's beautiful. That's that 9 energy coming in to set you free, and check the narrative around letting go. If the narrative is around loss, losing, all of that stuff, can you flip it? You have Gemini staring across the hemispheres. Is there another way to look at this? I'm setting myself free. Okay. And the final 2, of course, it's the Empress. I think the Empress came out the other day. To come into the fullness of yourself, 1221. So we've got that beautiful princess energy coming in, that 21-3 energy coming in, where she feels everything. She feels everything. This is the feminine. So the Empress, creative endeavor, nurturing and fertility, definitely speaking to devotion. Definitely speaking to dropping expectation. Because creative endeavors, you know, I sometimes work with people, I used to work an awful lot with business development. And what gets put, let me show you. Cheers. That's my cup of tea. So this is a symbol that I made that lives on my desk and does a certain thing with energy. Right. This symbol came to me in a vision, and I drew it and I started working with it in paper format, and then I started working with it in my chakras. This is literally the story of this. And then one day I grabbed some wire and I twisted it into this, and then I found out how it works, and it wants to work with flint, and that's fantastic. I want to build a business from it. I can do this, and I can offer this service or this, or bottom line. What about this? This is a living organism that came straight from my intuition, from my higher self, through the percolation of the mind, expressed as a symbol. And we forget, what is it? And so if we're talking about a creative endeavor, must it have an outcome? First question, is there an expectation hung on it, weighing it down? It's like the child with the over-expecting parents. Have you communicated with that? And here we go. This is the fire of creativity connecting with the cosmic ocean. What is this to me? What is this for the world? What is this? Speak to me. Okay. So it's that feedback loop. Don't know where I went then. It's a bit of a powerful little thing. This is right. I'm back. Empress, creativity, and the underlying energy. Look at what's grounding this. Is the star. And in the star is incumbent upon a purification process. And this is purifying the doingness with the beingness. It's getting in there and feeling your way through. Remember that snake that is going to go blind to shed its skin. It's not going to be able to see. So let inspiration be the guide to creativity. And that might sit outside. It's interesting that this is right in the middle of the reading. That might sit outside the 3D lover's archetype and might challenge it. But we're cutting that away. We're cutting something away that has held us back and contained us in a false belief that it's just over there. It's just over there. When it comes through the intuition, it's here, now. Move. But what do I do? Move. You go in again. What do I do? Sit with it. You listen for the whisper. Listen for the small voice. What do I do? Take action now. What do I do? Go and get a cup of tea. Listen, listen, listen. Excellent. Anything I need to read? No. And I want to go. I want to go. Where do I want to go? I'm going to go here to the Mystical Shaman deck. And do we need any clarifiers? Do we need any clarifiers? Nice. Wow. Pulling it right down. Yeah. Wow. What I'm seeing, I'll show you the 3 cards, shall I? So, we have the Crow, the Drum, and Earth. So imagine these cards like that, and now draw the figure 8 around them. So we have that higher mystical voice coming in through the spiral of everything, coming in on that beautiful Plutonian 13. It wants to come in and disrupt. Okay. Call it the voice of entropy. It wants to come in and dig up the gold. And the drum will sing it through. And the drum will sing it through. The drum will create the vibration and frequency, even the harmonic. To pull the light in to the earth. So all of this beautiful, dreamy quantum, higher self energy wants to come right in, right into earth. And give the energy to earth. Let it come through you and give the energy to earth. I was guided to play my drum the other day and I didn't listen. I'm just being reminded of that. And there's no excuse. Okay. And final messages. I think this is it. I've no idea what to call this. Higher self integration? Final messages, please. Bear with me. Higher self alignment and soul integration. That's what's happening. Okay, final messages, please. I'm hungry. I'm ready for my second breakfast. What if in your authenticity you look to others a little less trustworthy than you did before? That's what's coming through with these two cards. So, 9. A new balancing act. This is a new balancing act in the personal truth of sovereignty, which means there is no room for pretense. 38. This is a beautiful, beautiful number. It's building the temple from within. You know, that imagine this beautiful priestess is here and it's just creating that channel of light for that higher self energy just to come in. And in that energy, there can be no pretense. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Why are you unbalanced? Because I'm unbalanced. I don't trust you anymore. Okay, bye. I'm learning to dance on one foot. Deal with it. If it makes you feel destabilized or uncomfortable, deal with it. That's yours. It's got a touch of the full energy about it, actually. Balancing act. Allowing that wobble where you look a bit of a tit. Okay. I think that's it. Who wants to be the last card? Interesting choice. Enchanted Soul Tarot wants to be the last card. Is that it? Oh, just when you thought it was over, a new story opens up. Oh, wow. Okay. The vanity of material stability and our reluctance to release it is what's coming through. So we have the 10 of coins, which people often read as like your wildest dreams come true, but the 10 actually wants to collapse. It's done its work, and there's an invitation in that 10 to, and what now? Well, I just want to keep growing. I'm not letting go of this because this defines me. Home, family, stability, security, inheritance, legacy, reputation, affluence. So they all make a certain kind of container for how you want to appear in the world. Is it true? How does your money breathe? Does it breathe? Does it come and go? Does it lay fallow? Does it grow and then die? There's that magical 7. Just wants you to go a bit deeper. Are you sure? Are you deceiving yourself that you having everything is everything you've ever wanted? And how do you know that's true? Did you ask your soul? Did you ask your heart? Have you conferred with your higher self? Is that everything you came here to experience? I've just seen the magpie. the crowned magpie sitting under a dream catcher. Wonderful, wonderful energies. Deception, treachery, lies, enemy is within. The enemy is within. It's you. Theft, cheating, sneakiness, plotting. Okay, it gets a bit heavy, but I think the theme of these messages is don't be tricked into believing you've no work to do because you're there, because you have it all. Which speaks to the severity card. It's going to cut away that illusory lover's energy. The Hollywood dream. The picket fence, that. And what does that look like? Standing next to you, balancing on a new foot, on a new timeline that might be a bit a bit wobbly. I was also pondering over the weekend. I did one of my playtime things this weekend is to track the movement of Pluto since I was born to now in 13 sign true sidereal astrology. Game changer. Game changer. And in that astrology system, Pluto's actually just gone into Capricorn, which really speaks to how shit started breaking on November the 19th. Like literally on November the 19th. The snow came, the ice came, the internet went down, and then shit just started breaking. Like that. I described it as the depreciation line on a P&L sheet. All the depreciation is hitting now and shit's breaking. That's second house, Capricorn. So work the energy. But which is it, Chrissy? Ask yourself, which is it? What am I feeling? Where am I feeling this? And there's no reason it can't be both. There's no reason you can't learn to read that Pluto energy in every house. I dance quite deeply with Pluto. Me and Pluto are old mates. Right, I think that's genuinely it. Yeah, don't be tricked. It's okay to call yourself out. It's okay to call yourself a bit of a fool. That's okay. It's going to challenge the vanity and the ego of what's been created under the patriarchal rule of masculinity. Wow, sweeping away. Wow, sweeping away. So that's it, people. Higher self-alignment, soul integration. Listen within. I gotta go. I'm going to leave you with my love and thank you for being here. Please do all the clicky things and I'll see you all again soon.